If a 7-foot-tall cave troll wanted to keep you prisoner as her adult baby, what would you do? She's fast, mean, and really ugly, and she only wants one thing: play ball, and you can have all the free milk you can drink. But if you'd rather not spend the rest of your days locked in a pitch-black dungeon, or God forbid you're lactose intolerant, you'd best be packing some serious firepower, because the lady in charge is one bad mother. I'm gonna break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the big mama in Barbarian. Tess is trying to turn her life around. While visiting Detroit for an important job interview, she arrives at her Airbnb one dark and stormy night to find the key box is already empty, leaving her stuck out in the rain. Well, this trip's certainly off to a roaring start. Might as well get back in her car and hit the road. Even if there's a spare, no way I'm staying in this place knowing some troglodyte could key its way in at any moment. It's probably watching us from a nearby storm sewer right now, just praying we find a way inside so we can sneak in while we're sleeping and lick our eyelids or something. Unable to reach the property owners by phone, Tess heads back to her vehicle when suddenly a light comes on inside the house. I mean, I guess it could be on a timer, but my money's on there being someone inside. And since we're supposed to have the place to ourselves for the night, whoever it is probably up to no good. Yet another reason we need to look up the nearest Motel 6 GTFO. We can sort out the refunds later. Oh, but nope. Looks like we're ringing the doorbell to alert the potential squatter and or serial killer lurking inside. Can't wait to see how this turns out.
I'm sorry, who are you?
What? Who are you?
Brilliant. Maybe next, ask him what he's doing here. This tall drink of water's name is Keith, and it turns out he reserved this place for the exact same time frame through HomeAway. Yeah, apparently this dump is a real hot commodity. Not knowing what to do, he invites her inside so the two of them can sort this out. And my God, she's actually stupid enough to take him up on it. The correct response to that proposition is no thank you. My belligerent Navy SEAL husband is waiting for me in the Jeep with his Fight Light MCR. And then you leave immediately and never come back. I don't care if there isn't another free bed in the entire city. Find a motel in the next town over and wake up super early, or even bag this trip altogether. There is no job prospect in the world that's worth waking up in James Gumm's special pleasure pit covered in lubriderm. And what does Tess do the second she gets inside? She immediately goes to use the bathroom. Nah, it's fine. I'm sure the paper-thin interior door is totally going to stop a determined attacker from barging in on you with your pants around your ankles. But hey, at least she had the good sense to ask him to show her his booking confirmation as soon as she gets back. You know, now that he's standing between her and what seems to be the only exit.
In case I'm some kind of weirdo who's broken in here to sleep?
No, in case you're planning on wearing us like a trench coat while you touch yourself in the mirror. Ultimately, Keith produces the requisite documentation on his smartphone. Although, who's to say he didn't take that phone off its owner after bludgeoning them to death in the basement? Alright, I get I'm reaching a bit, but the fact is, there really isn't anything this guy could show me that's gonna get me to stick around. Besides, as it concerns the double booking situation, what exactly are we supposed to accomplish here that we couldn't take care of separately? Time to kick rocks. We can dial Airbnb support on speaker while we drive around looking for a hotel. Except, wouldn't you know it, our roommate is just too darn chivalrous to let us go roaming around such a dangerous neighborhood unchaperoned. Instead, he insists we hang around here until we figure out our next move. Only there's a problem. According to Keith, some kind of major medical conference is taking up every last room in the city. The way he sees it, our best option is to just spend the night here, alone with him. Yeah, gonna have to pass. Dude's been trying way too hard to keep us inside from the moment he opened the door. Besides, if this area is really as rough as he's making it out to be, then neither of us should be staying here in the first place. We, meaning Tess, should just Google the nearest IHOP to hang out in while we call every last motel in the metro area, because there is no way in I'm taking his word on that. Plus, pancakes. Unfortunately, for common sense, however, it seems Keith is doing a speech playthrough. That's right, Tess actually agrees to the proposed slumber party. Weird, I know. It's about to get weirder, because old Pennywise pretty much goes full milady the second she comes around.
Call me what you want, but there's no way I'm sleeping in the bedroom while a young lady is sleeping on the couch.
See what I mean? He just needs a trilby hat and a katana. Guy even carries her bags in from the— wait, you let this creeper go rifling around your only means of escape unsupervised? He probably just filled your ignition with super glue. For Christ's sake, at least try to make it difficult for him. Even the sleeping situation is designed to screw us over. Think about it. We take the bed while he's posting up beside the only way out. Everything about this guy just screams ill intentions. He even made us a cup of tea after we already told him we didn't want one. Sure, it's all dressed up in this aw shucks wholesome veneer, but anyone with eyes should be able to see the mountain of red flags piling up all around us. Wouldn't let us leave, didn't see him make the tea, can't get a hold of anyone. I mean, for all we know, he's actually the guy that owns this place, and he just waits around for the cute single guest to book so he can lock them up in his homemade dungeon. Obviously, Tess isn't sold on Keith's whole nice guy routine as she takes the opportunity to photograph his driver's license after finding his wallet in the bedroom. But if you're really that freaked out, there's absolutely no reason you should be staying there. I would just tell him I need to get something out of my car and hit the gas. We can come back for our luggage once we finally make contact with the host, as well as do some sleuthing around on him from a good safe distance. Problem is, no matter what we say we're going to go get, the conversation will probably go straight to him demanding he brave the storm on our behalf, so we'd better be prepared to bolt if he gets pushy. Whatever we decide to do, we should start by sending that photo of his ID to someone we can trust, along with a detailed description of the current situation, our location, and what our plans are. We should then arrange a check-in call that night and sometime in the morning, and maybe even find a way to casually bring that up in the conversation so he knows we'll be missing if he tries anything. Something like, I have to get some sleep because I call my mom every morning at 7. It doesn't even have to make sense, just as long as he gets the idea. This all sounds pretty simple, right? Well, that's because it is. But Tess doesn't do literally any of it. Instead, she just brushes her teeth and washes up for Betty by. Yeah, a lot of good that picture's gonna do you when you're chained to a radiator here in about an hour. Oh, well, at least she gets clean sheets, right? Just gotta wash them first, which leaves her plenty of time to soak in this cringe fest.
But I thought that, you might want some of this, but if I open it while you weren't here,
Dude, spit it out. You want her to drink this wine so she'll sleep with you. How hard was that? Fortunately, Tess at least has enough sense to politely decline. That is, until he mentions jazz. Then she's ready to suck down half the bottle right beside his creepy ass. God, it's a good thing he didn't mention vinyl, or this might have gotten too hot for YouTube. Also, quick side note, just because she watched him open the bottle doesn't mean he didn't fill it full of Ambien when he whipped it up in his mom's basement. Homemade wine and label makers are both things that exist. Eventually, the booze takes its toll, and just in time for the sheets to come out of the dryer. However, instead of taking the freshly made bed for a test drive, the two bid each other goodnight and return to their respective corners. Or do they? Sometime that night, Tess's bedroom slowly creaks open, but by the looks of it, Keith is still sound asleep in the other room. Wow, what a strange phenomenon. Better go check it out. And by check it out, I mean lock the door and jam it up with as much bedding as physically possible. Now, we can't possibly go on without walking out into the living room and yanking Keith out of his little scream dream. Let me break it down for you. Either he opened the door and then immediately ran back to the couch without making a sound so he could pretend to be asleep, or he didn't open the door. In which case, yeah. Either way, I'm not going out there until daylight. Upon dragging him out of the dreamland, Keith says he didn't open her door, because of course he does, and he actually seems pretty pissed off she woke him up over it. Oh well, I guess nobody opened it then. Might as well just go right back to sleep without even bothering to check the closet. The next morning, Tess awakens to find she wasn't brutally murdered and stuffed into a suitcase. On her way out the door, she finds a note left by Keith asking her to leave the key in the lockbox before she goes. Holy he wasn't kidding about this being a bad part of town. It's like she just crawled out of 111. I mean, I guess it was slim pickings to find a place, but you didn't even bother to research the area ahead of time? Sure, you wouldn't exactly expect Airbnb to let you book a spot in Warzone, but you obviously knew you were staying in Detroit, right? Yeah, screw this. We should go back and grab our suitcase before we go. I'd be totally fine showing up a few minutes late for my appointment if it meant I never had to set foot in this sinkhole again. Despite the rough night she had before, more, it seems Tess totally nails her interview. However, her prospective employer is beyond shocked to find out where she's staying.
It's in Brightmoor. Are you kidding? No, you shouldn't be there.
And now she thinks you make horrible decisions. I wouldn't expect a call back. Seriously though, do you not see the look of utter disbelief on the woman's face? Might be best to ask the property owner to mail your back once you get home. Or maybe just forget about it and call it a lesson. Nah, you know she's going back there. Oh, and perfect timing. Here comes the mayor to welcome her back. Question for all you hardcore survivalists out there. If a seemingly deranged man was sprinting straight towards you as fast as he could, would you A, get back in your car parked right next to you? Or B, run to the locked house 7 yards away so you can frantically with a lockbox that may or may not contain the key depending on whether Keith has come by? Let me know in the comments. Well, Tess picks option B, and by some miracle, she manages to get back inside before her new best friend can ask for any change. Unfortunately, the cops around here are too understaffed, underfunded, and uninterested to even offer so much as a drive-by, especially after she tells them the dude has already left. Yeah, that's why you say he's currently breaking in. Let them tell you he left once they get there. With no sign of her pursuer, Tess starts packing up to make her escape, but there's no outrunning nature's call. Problem is, they're all out of tickets, and the nearest supply is down in the basement. Might be a better idea just to hold it. Call me Kevin McAllister, but the only basement I feel comfortably walking into is Bert Gummer's. Besides, there's no telling when that nutcase might come back, and given there isn't a single door in this place that a grown man couldn't kick in if he really wanted to, our best bet is to just get back on the road and stop at the nearest set of golden arches. Plus, there is that whole incident with the bedroom door opening last night. Although without seeing the basement door closed behind her, it'd be a pretty significant leap in logic to assume there's some kind of grotesquely malformed monstrosity lurking in the basement, waiting to bust your skull open. Still, it's yet another reason we shouldn't stick around this place for even a second longer than we have to. Tess manages to retrieve a fresh roll without getting got, but she's not out of the woods yet. It's almost like it was meant to keep something trapped down here. What, you're just gonna jiggle the knob a few times before sitting down in a huff? For all you know, that whack job outside only left so he could go grab a crowbar. I'd say this situation warrants kicking the door in. It's a relatively cheap and easy repair for them to make. And at this point, you won't be paying for jack what you let Airbnb know about your experience. Besides, what kind of criminally negligent rental owner would force you to risk imprisoning yourself just to grab some toilet paper? Probably the kind you really don't want to call for help when that inevitably happens. Oh, well, it doesn't matter because Tess forgot her cell phone back upstairs anyways. That's right, after nearly being attacked in the front yard, she didn't think to keep her phone with her at all times. And since she has the key, Keith can't even come to the rescue whenever he gets back. It's okay, we're not hosed yet. Even if we're assuming the door is sealed with some kind of magic, we could easily find something to boost ourselves up to the window and bust our way out using the plentiful trash scattered around the basement. Wait a second, what could you possibly be looking for in all these boxes? A magic lamp? There's a broom handle and a long metal bar right next to you. Either one would be perfectly suitable to smashing a thin pane of glass. You could probably use them to bash a hole through the door and turn the knob from the other side if you don't feel like crawling out like a varmint. Nah, I know what'll get us out of here. This weirdo mold tchotchke. Except it looks like it was concealing some kind of secret string, and that secret string reveals a secret door.
Nope.
Hey, look who finally grew a brain. Sure, not even I could resist pulling that thing, but the moment I saw it opening up a pitch black portal to the underworld, I'd probably give it a rest. Although, at least Tess was smart enough not to waltz right in. Psych! Apparently, all it needs is the faint glow of a reflection off a filthy mirror to make it perfectly safe. I mean, it's not like we've seen any of the doors in this place shut and lock on their own or anything. It's just so important we see what's down Trench 11 instead of fighting like mad to get the hell out of here. Tess chases the faint glimmer of a doorknob until she reaches the end of the line. Once there, she opens the door and flips on a nearby light switch to reveal a homebrew prison cell that makes Ethan Hawke's basement look like the Hampton Inn. And here I was, expecting a Funko Pop collection. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're not actually going in there, are you? Any second now, Coppola's gonna come back to make you a star. Fortunately, she spots a bloody handprint on the wall in time to nope right out of there. You know, cause nothing else in the this place was any cause for concern. Yeah, I'd say it's time to leave. Only I'd be a day late on that. Luckily, she's able to get Keith's attention just as he's getting back and pass him the key through the basement window. And he was even kind enough to let her out without revealing himself to be the not-so-surprised villain behind all this. That said, what he does after hearing what was down there isn't all that much better.
All right, Tess. No. Stop. Just stop.
Bro, what is your problem? You barely just met this chick. If she wants to leave, let her leave. As for Tess, this right here is a prime use case for pepper spray. Dude is literally trying to stop you from fleeing an overtly dangerous situation. Sure, it might just be because he doesn't grasp the severity of what you're saying, but I'd rather be wrong and facing an assault charge than chained to a filthy mattress down in some VC LARP tunnel. At that point, if he's still feeling froggy once we bless him with the hot sauce, then I'd say we pull out the P365 and put a little starch in his gym jams. Keith finally eases up on his approach, but it seems all this talk of crap buckets and camcorders has really piqued his curiosity. He doesn't want Tess to go down with him. He just asks that she hang around while he goes to investigate, just in case he gets locked in himself. And the survey says, get f***ed. If you're worried about getting trapped down there, just jam the door up with something. Just rip it off the freaking hinges and blame it on the local wildlife. I'd be shocked if this place didn't get broken into on a regular basis anyways. Oh, but wouldn't you know it? And keeping up with basically every other decision she's made so far, Tess gives in to his request and agrees to hang out another 30 seconds while he's busy being stupid. Except she doesn't even wait 10 before ditching all of her stuff in the bedroom and walking right back through the basement door. Jesus Christ. Did you already forget what happened last time? Good thing she had the keen intellect to MacGyver up that chair at the last second. Surely no one else could have thought of that. Tess calls out to Keith from the top of the stairs, who immediately replies confirming he found the RAM pad, only to then become totally unresponsive, seemingly ignoring whatever sense of self-preservation she has rattling around up there. Our cunning and resourceful heroine flips out the phone light and comes to the rescue, only he seems to have vanished into thin air. Yeah, it's about the time you go peeking around under a blood-stained bed in a snuff studio that you should realize you f***ed up about 10 times too many. Right now, the villain is standing behind you, rolling his eyes. Dude must have broken his back putting this whole place together like this. The least you could do is give him a challenge. Somehow, Tess makes it out of there without getting jigsawed, but the question of where Keith went remains unanswered. That is, until she finds yet another secret door at the end of the tunnel, although it looks like this one leads all the way to China. Just then, she hears the faint sound of Keith crying for help in the distance, only for him to suddenly go silent once again. Well, I guess he got 8. Sucks to suck, bro. No, hang on. You're not actually going in after him, are you? There are only 2 reasonable explanations for why Skarsgård would have entered the abyss without saying anything. Either he got grabbed by whoever built that lovely little playpen back in the tunnel, or he's just chilling down there with a dog chain waiting for you to come looking for him. Whichever it is, an unarmed, untrained, 120-pound woman is not equipped to deal with this situation by herself. I don't care if it takes him 3 days to get here. If we are dead set on saving this guy from whatever Indiana Jones trap he fell into, we need to call the cops right now. However, instead of leading with a story about the secret door to nowhere, we should tell them there's a barricaded shooter down in the basement threatening to put a stock on a handgun. Provided there's anything left of the place after the initial assault, they'll ideally find the hole in the foundation and go in to investigate, or just fill it full of gasoline and set it on fire. Either way, problem solved. Evidently, while I've been yapping, Tess has been going deeper and deeper into the darkness. I mean, you'd think she would have stopped after the multiple wrought iron gates, or maybe even the several filthy human-animal cages bunched up in a corner. But by God, this woman is bound and determined to track down the man she's only known for a few hours, who may or may not also be deliberately luring her towards certain death. From out of nowhere, Keith emerges from the impenetrable blackness on his hands and knees. In a hushed voice, he claims he was just bitten by someone else in the tunnel, and for some reason, he thinks the best thing to do now is go right back towards where that happened. You know, instead of returning to the surface via the direct path Tess just used to get here. Well, whatever you decide to do, might be a good idea to kill the light and keep your mouth shut before our mystery biter hones in on your position. classic Airbnb. There's always something you don't find out about until you get there. Oh, it's got ants in the bathroom. Oh, the hide-a-bed's broken. Oh, there's a violent cave person trying to kill me. We better at least get a free weekend for this. You know, assuming we make it out of here alive. Regardless, at least we can say for certain Keith didn't have anything to do with the interior decorating. Although I'm not entirely convinced he still wasn't a wolf in sheep's clothing. After all, why on earth would he have gone down the rabbit hole without saying so much as a single word? Dude literally made us hang out at the top of the stairs in case he got trapped behind a flimsy wooden door. Why wouldn't he want us to do the same at the threshold of... It's possible Morticia Adams did him in before he could show us his true colors. Not that whatever happens next is going to go any better for us. A couple weeks later, property owner and washed-up actor AJ arrives at the house to put it up for sale. Yeah, good luck with that. Have you seen the state of this neighborhood? Not to mention the fact that it looks like the last tenants have yet to check out. God, dude's worse than Tess and Keith combined. The key box has been wide open for who knows how long, and he's got no problem clonking out in the bedroom beside a bunch of someone else's crap. You'd think he'd at least be somewhat concerned that whoever's stuff this is might show up in the middle of the night to make him stick himself. Yeah, don't worry though, his decision making only goes downhill from here. The next morning, while enjoying his cup of coffee, AJ hears something moving around in the basement, prompting him to arm up with a steak knife and head downstairs to handle business. Might want to rethink that weapon choice there. As long as this place has been wide open, you could very well be walking in on a full-blown hippie drum circle. But instead of hippies, it's Skinny Pete and the boys. And instead of playing the drums, they're whipping up a batch. However, by the time he works up the courage to investigate, whoever or whatever was making the noise is nowhere to be found. Probably for the best. Dude looks like he can barely bend over and pick up his shorts. Just then, AJ notices the secret string protruding from the wall. At this point, I'm not even gonna waste my breath on the 1,000,001 reasons why poking around a DIY mine shaft on your dilapidated rental property is a bad idea. We all know Freddy's going in to investigate. Thankfully, upon discovering the little casting couch setup they got going on down there, he reacts like any reasonable person would.
Can underground rooms view this square footage? Oh, yeah.
Jackpot. All that extra space is definitely gonna reel in those first-time buyers. After learning about the sudden spike in property value, AJ grabs a tape measure and heads back down to tally up his gains, only to discover the second doorway leading deeper into the underground network. So let me get this straight. You just heard something rustling down there, like 5 minutes ago, and your first reaction upon finding a dark, spooky tunnel leading to God knows where is to go backpedaling into the unknown with nothing but a flimsy piece of dinnerware and a dollar store flashlight. I know celebrities are supposed to be out of touch with reality and all, but I'm starting to wonder if there isn't a monoxide leak in this place. Eventually, he comes to some kind of nightmare nursery room with Motherhood for Mutants playing on a small TV set. Well, this just won't do. What are you, just gonna let a bunch of mole people steal your electricity like this? Time to whip out old Sticky and show them who's boss. Suddenly, the tape measure starts paying out uncontrollably back towards the entrance, prompting the unflappable AJ to fumble his way into battle position. I'm guessing he wasn't an action star. Hearing something big wheezing its way around the bend, he decides to reconsider his choice of choke points, instead running aimlessly deeper into the complex. Not a whole lot I can say for him at this point. He really shouldn't have gone down there without some kind of heavily armed assault team. At the very least, I would have tried calling up Zach Baggins and company to tell him the place is haunted. Let them get gobbled up mapping it out. One thing's for sure, we'd better keep a tight grip on our flashlight. If we lose visibility down here with something chasing us, we'd might as well just swallow that steak knife and get it over with. And he dropped it. Great going, Butterfingers. Better technomance that thing back to life ASAP. Think I hear something coming. Jesus Christ. On second thought, keep it off. Look, I know seeing Lady Dimitrescu without her makeup on is frightening and all, but you should probably stay focused on the ground in front of you, so you don't break your leg tripping over something, or fall into a giant prison pit. Oh well, at least he won't have to worry about dying alone, because it turns out he's got a cellie in the form of a very emaciated Tess. Holy sh**. She's alive? I thought for sure Biggin would have cracked her open on the wall like she did Keith. Right off the bat, she tells him to calm down, lest he incur the wrath of their feral ghoul hostess. Easier said than done, I know, but given she's managed to survive down here for over a week, I'd say we should probably do whatever she says. Just then, the terror returns to check on our captives. Evidently, it's feeding time, although something tells me that didn't come from Whole Foods. However, when baby won't latch, Big Mama scoops him back up to the nursery to feed him straight from the source. You know, a lot of weirdos out there would probably pay good money for this action. Fortunately, in the monster mother's haste to ensure AJ grows up big and strong, she forgot to close the grate covering the hole, giving Tess a chance to make a break for it. Grabbing the knife and flashlight, she manages to sneak by unnoticed. That is, until she stumbles onto the uncoiled measuring tape lying near the exit. With her beastly babysitter hot on her heels, Tess makes it back to the basement and begins chipping away at the window with the steak knife, narrowly avoiding recapture after getting a helping hand from the same guy that once scared her half to death. Evidently, he was just trying to warn her to not go into the house. But dude, come on. Your delivery does need some cleaning up.
Hey, little girl! Hey, little girl! Come out that house!
Gee, I wonder why she didn't listen to you. Maybe next time try starting with something a little less unhinged, like don't go in there. There's a baby crazed giantess living in the basement that'll snatch you up like a Cabbage Patch Kid. The homeless hero tries bringing her back to his camp in the nearby water tower, warning her that the creeper will almost certainly come looking for her as soon as the sun goes down. But Tess insists they have to find a way to help the newcomer still trapped inside. With her savior unwilling to help any further, she makes her way alone through the battered block to a gas station and calls the cops. Boy, can't wait to see how this goes. How many calls do you think they get a day from people in her condition screaming about creatures hiding underground? Apparently, it's a lot because the responding officers can barely be bothered to exit their cruiser upon arriving at the house. The way they see it, the only crime being committed here is some lunatic trying to break in through the basement window.
Are you mother bleeding?
Hey, I've had enough of you. You're lucky we don't bring you downtown to sleep this off in jail.
Yes, must be that new junk on the street that makes people speak clearly and articulately in complete sentences. Jokes aside, I can hardly blame the boys in blue for not immediately breaking the door down without a warrant based on the testimony of someone that looks like she's been riding the lightning in a big old tire the last week and a half. If I were Tess, I'd tell them to run the plates on my Jeep parked out front. As long as it's registered to us, we can then provide her matching name and address to show them we aren't just some local needle enthusiast out for her nightly freakout. Not sure it'll be enough to have them search the place outright, but it could at least convince them to look into it a little more. That said, after spending days on end living in a literal hole in the ground, even a concrete floor in a jail cell would probably feel like memory foam. Sure, it won't do our friend any favors, but it might not be the worst idea to let them take us in. Besides, it's gonna be dark soon. Back underground, AJ took advantage of Tess's escape to give his wet nurse the slip. Using his phone light, he makes his way through the darkened corridors to yet another door, just in time for the nanny to track him down. However, instead of dragging him off to the nursery for another bout with the biddies, she stops dead in her tracks at the side of the door and slowly slinks off into the darkness. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a red flag. Whatever she's afraid of sure as is not the threat of late career Justin Long backed into a corner. My guess is this door leads to something that'll make this hag look like a Girl Scout, although it's not like we can just curl up in the hallway for the rest of our lives. AJ opens the door to find a subterranean apartment belonging to the home's previous owner, and by the looks of it, he's seen better days. Now, why would a 7-foot-tall vampire mommy be scared of a shriveled old crone rotting away in the pool of his own fluids? Must be the smell, or maybe it has something to do with that huge collection of VHS tapes including such classics as Jane, Screamer, Won't Stop Crying, and Bad Nose Bleeder. Should probably keep her eyes on this sicko's hands in case he doesn't take the eviction well. Remembering the camcorder upstairs, AJ puts 2 and 2 together and pops in one of the tapes, and what he sees on the screen makes him want to pull the plug on this geezer. However, while the escapee was busy taking in the horse show, evil grandpa managed to fish a snub nose out of the nightstand, only it doesn't look like he's got home defense on the brain.
No, wait!
Good riddance. Not sure why you'd try to stop him, especially considering the alternative. Besides, free gun. Should probably make sure the rest of the cylinders are loaded, just in case this thing was a self-delete special. Couldn't hurt to check for any more ammunition lying around either. After all, I got a feeling Big Bertha could soak up some lead. Meanwhile, back upstairs, Tess has finally decided to break in and go after her car keys. But instead of immediately whipping a Yui and putting this mess in the rear view, she turns her Jeep back towards her would-be prison, just in time to say goodbye to the warden. Yeah, I get wanting to ice this freak show after she forced you into playing house with her for 2 weeks. But now your car's f***ed up. Giant monsters or not, this is hardly the kind of place you want to be walking around at night. At the very least, we should grab the tire iron and dish out the double tap to make sure we don't run into any surprises on our way out. With Mother of the Year down for the count, Tess heads back underground to find her former cellmate, but her flashlight dies along the way. Just then, she sees the faint glow of a cell phone approaching from farther down and calls out to it. Only, the response is probably not what she was hoping for.
Hello?
Didn't anyone ever tell you that spelunking is dangerous?
Fortunately, AJ flinched hard enough to pull the shot low left, although not enough to keep from dosing her right in the gizzard. Probably worth mentioning, you should never open fire until you can see what you're aiming at. But given most of Tess's body was lit up from the nursery, I'm thinking this legitimately just tried to kill her. Either way, at least he has the decency to carry her out of this dump. Upon reaching the street level, the two exit the house to find Mary Poppins has disappeared. And to make matters worse, AJ left his car keys back in the tunnel. With nowhere left to turn, our heroes limp their way to the water tower to drop in on the hobo for a good old-fashioned exposition dump. I'm sure everyone's just dying to know what whole Nurse Lurch crawled out of. But why the hell haven't you used that cell phone you were carrying around to call a freaking ambulance? What are you, out of minutes or something? If Tess doesn't get medical attention soon, she's almost certainly gonna bleed to death. But no, it's fine. According to Bum MD's expert diagnosis, she's totally fine to hunker down in this heap until morning. Better stick a thumb in it, lady. It's gonna be a long night, especially with Mr. Long digging deep to earn that Oscar.
I don't know if I'm a bad person, or maybe I'm a good person who just did a bad thing.
Or maybe you're a moron. That would certainly explain why you're monologuing beside an open fire with Mother of the Year screwing around just up the street, which, if I had to guess, is probably why she's about to come busting in like the Kool-Aid Man and beat your host to death with his own arm. Oh, and judging by the way you left the injured woman to be savagely torn apart by old Tabitha, I'm definitely leaning towards you being a bad person. Unfortunately, the only way out proves to be a dead end, forcing them to climb up one of the nearby water tanks, which is also a dead end. But at least AJ will have a chance to dome slice this bee once she reaches the top, provided he can whip the piece out without neutering himself or dropping it over the side. Christ, dude, maybe popcorn was a bad choice. However, the sight of their one saving grace clattering onto the staircase below gives brave Sir Robin an idea. Miss Underverse is only chasing them to get her baby back, so let's just see how far she's willing to go. And with that, AJ heroically grabs Tess by the hair and yeets her over the side of the tower.
Come get your baby!
Bro, cold as ice. I wouldn't even do something like that. Oh, probably. As Tess plummets to the earth, the last thing she sees before hitting the ground is her surrogate mother following her right behind her. However, since the law of physics worked differently in the state of Michigan, Trollface falls fast enough to beat her to the ground and soak up most of the impact. I don't care if all that's left of her looks like strawberry milkshake. Find one of the larger chunks to dump the last 4 rounds of 357 in before she pulls herself together and tears out your spine. Unfortunately, before he can administer the coup de grace, the sight of Tess coming back to life stops him dead in his tracks, giving She-Hulk an opportunity to peel herself off the pavement and rip his head in half like a phone book. Let that be a lesson in shooting first and asking questions later. With the friendly foe neutralized, Mrs. Frankenstein leans over to comfort her ailing child, but little does she realize she's completely insane. This is not her daughter, and she's about to get shot in the head. And with that, Tess is finally free from this nightmare. Although, it might be worth it to Independence Day this creep show to the nearest cop shop, because there is absolutely no way anyone's going to believe your story otherwise. But look on the bright side. Just think about the book deal you're gonna get out of this. In the end, only Tess was able to make it out alive. However, had any one of them actually had half a brain in their skull, they would have known not to go poking around the creepy underground tunnel, thus never having run afoul of Slothette in the first place. For that reason, I think Barbarian was beaten. Moral of the story, stay the away from Detroit. Gamer subs nerds. New flavor just dropped and it's something you never knew you didn't want. Or do you? Curiosity killed the cat. Will Schlotz milk kill you? If I told you his milkiness had hints of blue raspberry, would that make it any less unappetizing or weird? No, but you only live once, so you might as well let Schlotz's white gold dance in your mouth. Use my code UNBEATEN to get 10% off anything else.